Hello there everyone, this is the Master Chief 1 again. And yes, I haven't done a video in a very long time. I am currently aware about that. However, I have a very special video I want to be able to share with you guys today actually. I am actually sharing with you something that all of you viewers probably don't really know about me, and probably the majority of you don't know about me. But I actually have a disability. Well, I don't really have it very much anymore, but I used to have a disability actually. That I don't really possess anymore. And I would like to be able to share with you in this typed out biography I've written all about my disability. Alright, so here we go. And of the special cause that I am doing this for. Alright. Has this reader ever wondered if there was an actual possibility of a human being able to overcome a serious disability? Well, there is, and it is the story of how this author was able to rid himself mostly of a serious disability known as Asperger's syndrome or autism. And in this case, I have the high functioning level of autism, which in this case does not mean that I possess a whole lot of my autistic quirks that I'm not really functioning and behaving like a normal person when it comes to the disability of autism, as high functioning is what that means. Low functioning would mean that I would have lipid syndrome, which is the meaning for low functioning autism, and meaning I would have a very bad case of autism too. And in the end, learned a life lesson out of it. Throughout the years, I have had a lot of miraculous breakthroughs dealing with this disability of mine. This has included overcoming isolation, achieving crucial anger management problems with vocal patterns, improvements in cognitive patterns, and becoming polite. The important locations where I overcame each of these problems were actually a preschool owned by this preschool teacher whose last name was Barker, or in other words, that of Mrs. Barker. Two other disability-based preschools, middle school, high school, and other remedial sources. To have a better understanding of when and how I conquered each of these quirks, so you can be able to understand better what life lesson I learned, let me go back to the moment when I first experienced my autism. For the first 2 years of my life, I was a happy little as normal can be. I was happy, little, and as normal as I possibly could be. There, that's much better. That is until 2 years later, my grandmother learned that I lacked an enzyme within my system that would allow me to expel toxins from my system, and it led me to receiving high doses of the element known as mercury throughout my system. It was not until I was around 2 years old I started to show signs of my autism. I have already listed off most of my problems above, but some others I had were interrupting people later in life, not being able to let go of something that made me upset, and not being able to realize when I was talking too loud. Eventually, I became isolated from my parents, not even realizing they even existed, and stood in a corner screaming my head off in my own fantasy land. To help with my problem, my mother, Diane Homan/Bard, and my grandmother, Nancy Bard/Sarmstorff, thought it would be best for me to go to 2 special preschools. One I went to for a few months, and I really do not remember much about the place, so I will not talk about it, and a normal preschool to help me learn to socialize with other kids my age. My experiences within normal preschool were kind of unordinary, as my teacher, Mrs. Dorothy Barker, which is her first name by the way, thought at first I was retarded, but learned of my true disability and gradually got me to socialize with others and the processes were normal steps that most people would mostly know with autistic children. My other preschool, my other preschool known as Tot Spot was a place to help me do the same as my normal preschool, and I was soon able to socialize with others. Yes, I still had an ordeal of problems I still was not able to overcome until I moved from Coldwater and moved to Union City, enrolling at Union City Middle School. I had some friends within elementary school, although being the newest person in Union City and with my autism made me an outcast to all the other students. Experiencing the feeling of being isolated again and not having a lot of friends within elementary school, I decided that enough was enough. So this was a great moment within my life where my intelligence increased and I became very sociable and in a short while became popular when I gave a speech to the class explaining about my autism to everyone in my temporary small class. For once in my miserable life, I experienced other bad things occur to me that are better left for any other videos and stuff of that nature. I was accepted by people and eventually easily becoming polite by myself. However, I still had plenty of problems after leaving middle school, and one of them would be the toughest disability for me to still overcome involving the autism. When I began high school, I was popular, nice to people who gave me respect, and was on the honor roll. Despite these advantages, I still had problems with my speech, interrupting people, talking too loud, and my worst problem, the one that I mentioned before would be my biggest problem, was that I was outrageously angry when a group of people would not stop antagonizing me for months, even when I ignored them. It was one of the very reasons I was put in, even during middle school, a special education class. Over time, my intelligence grew and I got relieved of anger, except for technology when it's being inefficient. And after learning from my grandmother how she and my mother helped me with my problems and the truth of autism, I learned a valuable life lesson that things are never how they appear to be. That in life people need to question and not assume things to be accurate when the logic does not exactly add up. Which throughout my life I have used this life lesson and have actually learned historical facts of American history, just how bad conditions for our country, well, at the time I was writing this, might be and are now starting to become, even if some of you viewers may not truly believe that, and about certain problems with my body. An example of this is that during my sophomore year, I was only able to lift a pathetic 120 pounds, and our weightlifting coach, Mr. Tundavolt, thought it was just natural for my body. Yeah, I did not believe so and learned later on in life, after going to see a specialist named Greg, that I had a lack of protein going into my arms and I could actually lift 200 pounds. Through my life lesson, I not only was able to learn things that I never knew before, but I also learned about many problems that I experience in my system still today, and have been able to overcome some ways to expel mercury out of my system to become more normal than I was before. It will still be kind of a long road, given the given my current situation now. Yet I hope through my life. Through my life lesson, it will continue to help mold the life I have chosen for myself and to overcome my problem. If the reader wants to learn more about autism, they can go to the local library, talk with people who have a lot of experience with it, or go to www.autismspeaks.org for more information. And I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you actually had enjoyed me reading off my biography for you. But the video is not done yet. Now that you know that I am autistic and everything else, I want to be able to now to please plead and tell this to all my viewers. Given that I am autistic and given that I have dealt with autism and I'm just about now actually as normal as can be, the only slight problems I have is just a small bit of weirdness with my hands, just a tiny bit when I get excited, and sometimes I accidentally still have tone deafness issues, but aside, and a little bit of that anger with the technology I had just mentioned. I please advise every viewer watching that now that you know that I have a disability and that I am slightly a little bit autistic still left, I please urge you to please donate some money for tomorrow by the time this video is posted up to this special organization called AutismGiveBack.org. That's www.autismgiveback.org. As there are many unfortunate autistic children who have not overcome their disabilities yet and are still struggling like me, whether it's Asperger's syndrome or lipid syndrome. I please advise you viewers to please donate, and please go to the link I had just mentioned for tomorrow of September 17th, and please donate. I thought I would just share my video with you so that you can truly understand some of the problems we as autistic children have to deal with, and to learn a little bit more if you weren't currently aware of what autism truly was, and some of the other things about it. And you can believe whatever you want as to the actual cause of autism, but for me, I'm going to believe that it's caused by an overdosage of mercury shots that are given to the young babies and children when it comes to making sure that they are given the proper antibodies and stuff of that nature when they are born, that it is a way too high dosage of mercury that causes this disability. Given that, of course, no one else in my entire family aside from me was given the disability of autism. So it shows that, like I said, it's a lack of an enzyme that prevents me from expelling mercury toxin out of my system. But thankfully enough, as I mentioned, I have overcome all these. So please, as I just mentioned, please support AutismGive.org and donate, and please donate some money. Please donate some money for today. So anyway, this has been the Naster Chief 1. I will eventually do an update video as to any other activity that I am going to be doing, and of course advise you as to why it's been so long since I've done any other random video game videos, and I will see you later, and goodbye.